Now, if I want to learn how to make circles, sometimes even, I've been using SketchUp for a while now, but I forget how to do some things. I just want to remind you to look for help. Okay. And so there's this thing called Sketchup Canvas. If you go learnsketchup.com, and it's got all these different things for getting started. Plus, there's a bunch of stuff on YouTube. And if you get started, uh, and let me go back one here. Okay, so one of there's these fundamental lessons, and we'll go look through here. And so these are some basic core concepts of push pull, accuracy, drawing tools, selections, grouping, components. And in order to get through your class, you need to be able to do all of these kind of without thinking. Um, it really helps you to do that. And plus, there's exercise files. So this is under learnsketchup.com, track SketchUp fundamentals part one. Uh, so and you go to SketchUp fundamentals, or you go click on that, then this pops up. So that's how you get to that from the learn.sketchup.com. Anyway, highly recommend it. It's kind of no nonsense, really good demos. You can see what people are doing with this stuff. It's pretty cool. Okay, so back to our file. So what I want to do now is I want to create a curved shape that we can do um, our Boolean, or SketchUp calls it solids, which is another term for this, where you can take one object and subtract an object for another one, or Booleans, or all the different combinations. Hit the H key, and we're going to zoom around. So I need to make a pretty big shape if I want to get a curve out of there. So I'm going to turn off the hot dogs and pickles, and I'm going to use this center point here to make a new shape. And I click in the background a lot just to make sure I don't have anything selected. So I'll hit the space bar, click in the background, just to make sure nothing's selected. Now I'm going to pick the circle tool. I'm going to click in here once, and you can see down in the corner, right side, far down, bottom right side, it says 24. And that's kind of the resolution of the circle. And 24 is like uh, not super high. Uh, if you pick something like 5 or 6, that's really going to be obvious. It's going to be a pentagram or a hexagram, or hexagram, yeah, or 5 or 6, yeah, whatever. So let's say I'm going to pick 60, and that's pretty fine. So now when I draw a circle, it's going to have a high resolution. And so what SketchUp does is that it actually makes a circle, but it makes a circle out of little tiny straight lines. And if you don't have the resolution set high enough, it's not going to look too good. Now I'm going to start by clicking in the middle, and then I'm going to go out. And if I go right here, it's kind of almost my edge of my type is right there. So if I want something to be really big, I need to go out. And you can see my radius down there. I'm at like 2.6 meters right now. So let me type in 5. I'm going to type 5 and hit enter. And then boom, there. My thing, I'm going to space bar, click in the background, and zoom out, middle mouse, or hit the H key, move around. So now I have this large circle shape, and I'm gonna push pull this. So I'm gonna turn off my reference, and I'm gonna take this shape and push, select it up, and I want this to go up for 1 meter. Okay, and then I'm gonna spacebar background. Now let's look at the bottom. So right now everything is white. There's no dark colors, so I know it's all one shape. Now I'm going to turn my shapes into a group. So even though this is one shape, but it's actually a couple of different, it's several different top, bottom, and sides. So I'm going to select everything. So I'm going to go over to the left space bar, drag over, get everything, select it. And then I want to make a group out of it. So right click, and I'm going to pick make group. And then it gives me this group name, and I'm going to call this cylinder 1, CYL1. Okay. And I'm going to copy this. So I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm gonna do a couple of things we can do. I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm going to uh, make some adjustments to it. So I'm gonna pick this guy, and I'm gonna copy it. Okay. Now this one I'm going to monkey with it. So I've copied it, but I haven't. That copy's still alive, and I'm going to or the copy's still in the copy land. I'm going to scale this guy, so I'm going to put the scale tool, and then I'm going to scale this way, and you can see down in the bottom left corner, it tells me a number, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to put 0.8. So that's like 80, or that's way too small. 0.8, and I want it to be centered. So um, I'm going to pick the move tool, and I can move it around till I try to get it centered. And I want to make sure I only move on the axes. Axis. Okay, and uh, I'm going to undo that. So I scaled it smaller, but I'm going to also scale it taller. So I'm going to get the push, not the push pull tool, I'm going to get the scale tool. If I go in the middle, I can scale up, space bar, click H key, and look at the bottom, get the scale tool, and then click in the bottom. And so it's scaled out on the bottom and the top both. Both the bottom and the top are scaled out a little bit. Okay. And then spacebar, click in the background. Okay. Now I have that cylinder, and I have the other one that's still in my copy buffer. So let's see what happens if I go edit, paste, in place. And so it pasted the new one, what was in my copy buffer, it pasted it right there. So I can go up to my original that was there, and I'm going to rename that to be 2. Okay. And the the cylinder 1, the one that I pasted in, is centered, but the cylinder 2 is not centered. So I'm going to pick this guy, and I pick the tool, and I can move him over. Oops. And I want to make sure when I move it, I just move along one axis. So you see where I dragged it, and it's red. So I want to hit the right arrow key so it only drags around the red. And I want to see if I can get that centered. And I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to go for a top view. View, top, camera, view, top. Scroll that. And so I pick this guy and move it so I think it's centered, then go this way, and then you see what colors it's green. So that's I have to make sure I pick the right arrow. It's green there, that one. So I want to scale top bottom, and I'm just doing it visually, and then I'm going to take this one, then I'm going to move it to the right, and that is should be the red right arrow, and it's constraining, so I could line it up. And hit the space bar, select. Now I'm going to go to a front view, camera, standard view, front. And I want this guy to be centered up. So I'm going to select him, and I'm going to move tool, grab a corner, up. Oops, I'm going to undo because it moved it the wrong way. I'm going to make sure that I'm only moving in the constrained to one direction. So I hit the up arrow and then move that, and it's about in the middle. Okay, and great. I can hit the space bar, select background, H key, middle mouse. Now I'm gonna do an operation. So I'm gonna cut the inside out of the outside. And we're gonna cut the type out of this. So it's gonna look a little bit different than what I did before. But so now, in order to do that, we'll continue in the next video, and I'll stop this video for now.